I just sat here for 5 minutes, spacing out. Oh man. Welcome to Sundays with Napalm. Really crap edition. Probably should have called it that. I'm gonna be up fucking front with you right now. Like, I want to be playing Stardew Valley. Like, I've been recording the Stardew Valley videos for the channel, and oh boy, is my mind just like I want to Stardew Valley. Like, fuck, shit. Why did it have to be Sunday? Why did I have to make obligations? Ah. Ugh. Anyways, hey Adam and hey all hail. Like, but I like doing Sundays with Napalm. It gives me a chance to like just riff for fucking an hour straight on absolutely nothing, and it gives me a chance to talk to my audience, make connections, press the flesh a bit, grease some palms. Made it sound really fucking gross. Taking a sip of tea. I thought I had a soda. I really hope I didn't leave a soda somewhere. That'd be really annoying. Sorry, taking a hit. Taking a hit. So yeah, doing Stardew Valley, which I'm going to be completely upfront with everybody. That's probably going to be the first Steam series to get more than 30 episodes. Because, like, RimWorld, I've done 30. I'm going to do 30 of Crusader Kings 2 if I ever get it working. And Undertale, well, the Undertale Genocide run has hit a couple of walls. I mean, maybe live stream it, but at the same time, whenever I did live stream games in the past, like Google Hangout is not really, unless you have like another auxiliary streaming thing, which I don't. I don't have another. Like, I just use Google Hangout's own like stuff. But like I like doing the recordings. I like doing the recordings because that gives me a lot of filler. Although Stardew Valley is probably not the best game because I'm trying to keep the Steam games to like 15 minutes because some of them are very big. Undertale, honestly, I probably could have made like 30-minute videos because Undertale isn't really a very visually straining game. It's not going to make the files very big, but like fucking Stardew Valley, like, yeah, that one. That one, Stardew Valley, like, it's got a lot of things going for it, and there are a couple of episodes because I get. That's another reason it might be a bad game for me to play, but like, fuck everybody. I love fucking Stardew Valley. Like, replaying it has made me go, shit, I forgot how much I absolutely love this game. Like, Stardew Valley, in my opinion, and it's only my opinion, perfect game. Like, there's things I'd like to see in it. I really would like to see an island. I would really like to see that. I'd really like to see like an island you could go to, do island stuff. That'd be a lot of fun. But like, or honestly, just a sequel. I would really adore a Stardew Valley 2. But like, we still got Stardew Valley 1, and the guy, like, the curious. I always want to say Naked Ape or Bewildered Ape, but those are YouTube assholes. I think it's Curious Ape. That guy, the one guy who made Stardew Valley, he said he's got at least like 5 years worth of ideas just to add on to Stardew Valley. Plus, there's not that much stuff. Like, honestly, the only reason I'd like to see a sequel is I'd like to see like an expansion of some of the things you couldn't necessarily do through new content. Like, I'd like to see a more fleshed out town. Because like I kind of brought it up in one of the later episodes I taped, like one of the later 20 ones. Like Stardew Valley did a really good job of like having a layout that is very reminiscent of a small rural town. Like there's not a lot of, there's not a lot of urban planning going into it. It's just pretty much like, oh, here's a place somebody decided to build a house. Here's a place somebody decided to build a house. And then like because of that a store popped up, and then because of the store like other things popped up. Like Stardew Valley does a really good job of kind of like conveying like this is what it's like to be in a rural community. Also, Stardew Valley did a good job with like a lot of the darker aspects, like a lot of the shittier aspects. I'd like to see them go fucking hog wild in a sequel. Yeah, that's another thing too, Adam. Like I like that I like investing in the actual businesses would be really cool too. Like like for example, when Jojo, like you know what I would love, Adam. Like I would love this when Jojo Mart leaves town, if you could take over that area, like if you could take over where Jojo Mart was and turn that into like a farmer's market or something, like that would be really cool. Like that would be really neat. Like yeah, because like the building's useless. Nobody goes in there after they abandon it. So yeah, fuck it. Just get rid of the like maybe keep the dead building up there for like a month or two. And then, like, the mayor, after a month, he's like, hey, this building is a real eyesore. Let's tear it down. And, like, hey, do you want to, like, and maybe you could, maybe it doesn't have to be a farmer's market either. Maybe you could decide what gets built there. Maybe instead of maybe you could have options of like a farmer's market or a school. That'd be really neat. Like Penny could actually become a real teacher. Maybe an arcade. Maybe like kind of like an entertainment area where like Sam and his band plays, or like Elliot does like book readings, or Lay does art. Yeah, that too, Adam. That would be a lot of fun. Or you know what? You know what would be a good replacement for Jojo Mart at the end of the game? Or this would be a good thing to just have randomly in the summer, a flea market. Like a flea market would be really cool. Yeah, a pizza place. Yeah, maybe like Gus and Pierre go like Enzies with you on a that could be a thing. Like depending on who you choose to help you go in on like replacing Jojo Mart, that depend that like that inevitably changes what kind of like building it becomes. So like if you go in with Pierre, it becomes like a farmer's market, but if you go in with like Gus, it becomes like a restaurant. That'd be a lot of fun. Furniture store would be fun too. Because furniture kind of could be a real pain in the dick hole to get, especially if there's something really specific you want. Sorry, there's like crud on my desk and it was bugging me. Yeah, oh hell, that's why I really love Stardew Valley. Like I was like one, not, just the possibilities with the first game are endless, but like the possibilities with like a sequel are even more endless. Because like one thing, like maybe like one thing I would really like to do, like or at least like to see with a sequel to Stardew Valley is maybe like more of a focus on like the class shit. So like not only do you have like something like Joja Mart in the town, like destroying the town that way, but you also have like a divide in the town of like this is the rich area of town and this is the poor area of town. Like maybe you could even have like the bad side of the train tracks, the wrong side of the tracks. Because one thing I'd love to see, like, and you could put this either in like in a sequel, like either in the actual town or just right outside of the town. Trailer park. I'd love to fucking see a trailer park, even if it's just like 2 or 3 trailers. Like I would love to see a fucking like an actual fucking trailer park in a Harvest Moon type game. That was like always like I love Harvest Moon so much. It's one of my favorite game series, but one of the things that always kind of bugged me with Harvest Moon is it was a little too cheery. It was a little too chipper in its depiction of life in rural areas. And like one of the things I really love about Stardew Valley is it's not afraid to shy away from dark shit. Like I got one of Shane's cutscenes I wasn't expecting, and I was like, holy shit, this went dark really fucking quickly. You know what? If Linus stole shit from me, I'd be like, you know what, Linus, just take it. I love Linus so much. In my head canon, for my Stardew playthrough, like anytime I play, I'm like Linus is basically like my child's godfather. He's Uncle Linus. Linus is always welcomed at my house. I wish you could actually find out who fucks with Linus's tent. I wish that was an event. That's another thing too with like with Stardew Valley and in terms of like all like the growth. Like a lot of the characters don't have like a lot of actual heart events and cutscenes and stuff. So you could add a lot of cutscenes and stuff to Stardew Valley. Okay, and Xavier, we're gonna do D&D. Also, fuck Lundy. Lundy was like, ugh, Matt, you used to be late to D&D games all the time. Well, I have not been, like, fuck you. I've been on time to every one of Nick's games, and the only reason I've fucked them up is because, like, I have absolutely no restraint in playing a character. Especially when I'm neutral evil. I become a true, utter fucking monster. Hey, it's not randomly. It happens when I get really high and there's something shiny outside. You know, I was thinking of getting Lundy on here today because I really want to argue Boku no Hero. Like, again, like, fuck it. Motherfucker was like, oh, you're bland and predictable, like, being a Suyu fan. And I'm like, that coming from a fucking motherfucking Uraka fan? Like, eat a dick, Lundy. Uraka is default best girl of Boku no Hero Academy. Like, Uraka is best girl for people who have just started watching it. Yeah, it really, and you know what? You know what I love, Adam? Like, the game, for the most part, isn't a prick about the cutscenes either. Like, it makes it like, for the most part, the game makes it relatively easy to get most of the cutscenes. The only cutscene I can think of off of the top of my head that's kind of like tricky to get if you don't actually know about it is Sam's like year one event that can only happen in year one. The one where he talks about his dad being in the war. That's the other thing too I love about Stardew Valley. Like, they don't get too much into it, but like, it's a there's a really interesting world outside of Stardew Valley. Like, I would really love, like, one thing I would love is more TV channels. Like, I would like for a news channel to just like kind of drop like world building crap. I think that would be a lot of fun. Because that was always a fun thing in the Harvest Moon games, were like all the different TV channels. Because sometimes you get like a soap opera one day, then the next day it'd be a cooking show, and then like the third day it'd be like a home shopping. Like, that's something I would like, a home shopping channel. Although there's no, you know, that's kind of weird. I just realized that there's no telephone anywhere in Stardew Valley. That's kind of a weird thing. One thing I might like, if Curious Ape ever does do a sequel to Stardew Valley, one thing I maybe would like to see him try is maybe go isometric, kind of like how the Harvest Moon games went. Because a Stardew Valley game on an isometric angle like that could be a lot of fun. That's a great idea, Adam. Like, yeah, maybe like a military guy comes and he's like, "Hey, here's this special military supply box, and like, if like, I'm not pressuring you, but like, we kind of really need the resources, because if you actually pay attention about the stuff with the war going on, it's not do it's not going well for the country you're in. Like, your country, I don't think is flat out losing, but it's not going like well either. It's kind of like, it seems like the it's basically an Iraq war parallel, or Afghanistan. Also, you know what I maybe would like to see? Magic. I don't know what kind of magic really you could put in other than like healing spell, like a healing spell. Buffs would probably be really good. Like especially a speed buff. If you could get like a good, if you could get like a speed buff going, that'd be really cool. I know he kind of wants to keep it to like pure Harvest Moon, but like he did introduce combat like the Rune Factory games. So he's not completely against like ideas from the Rune Factory games coming over to Harvest Moon. But yeah, I would like to see like some magic. Like at the very least, buffs would be really super useful. Yeah, I kind of wish they had the wizard do more stuff. Because he's a, like, because spoiler alert for my Stardew Valley series thus far, him and Willie, who I continuously call Wally throughout every fucking time, but Willie and him and Gus are like the three people who I have right now the worst relationships with. And partially that's because like one with Gus has like very few actual opportunities to just talk to him normally. I should probably just be giving Gus some beer or something. That would probably like get him up there. But like Willie and Wizard, they're kind of really far out of the fucking way. And usually I'm like, I got better shit to do than talk to Wizard or Willie. Plus, it's summertime and that summer fair is coming up. If you've played Stardew Valley, if you haven't played Stardew Valley, there's a fair in the summertime where you basically the community comes together and they make a big pot of soup. And one of the best things you can put in the soup is melon. So I've been growing a shit ton of melons. Also, maybe stuff with some of the other races too. Like again, like Stardew Valley has like so many potential possibilities that go off for. It's a like I know Chuck. I'm going off on a bit of a tangent. Like I know Chucklefish got a lot of shit for the development cycle of Starbound, but they they're a pretty good developer. I mean, the publisher. Like Chucklefish has a lot of games, and like all of them that I've played have been pretty decent. Yeah, right. Like usually, I basically do what I used to do in Harvest Moon. Is I worry about farming for the first half of the month, and then I just kind of like I worry about other shit for the rest. Like I try to go for like one big giant. One thing I really love about summer in Stardew Valley is like half of the crops are crops that keep growing and just keep giving you stuff. Like that's really fun. You know what's funny? I named this Rope-a-Dope because I thought like the main topic was going to be Mayweather versus McGregor, which I was rooting for a double knockout there personally. That's what I wanted. That's what I thought would be really funny to see. But I guess I'm happy Mayweather won. It's neat that he's like he hasn't ever like 50-0. That's neat. Good on him. It's okay. I've done my obligation to talking about the sports thing. Now going back to the nerd shit. Like, I also really love all the festivals for the most part. One thing I kind of wish is maybe like I kind of get why. Again, one dude, literally one guy, one person made Stardew Valley. So I kind of get why, like maybe there's not like the maze in the Halloween thing, like the maze during the fall festival doesn't change up. Because it's like, you know what? Yeah, like he probably didn't have time to make different variants of that maze. Like, because it was one guy who spent literally 4 years just doing it in his off time. You know what? Also, I'd like to see the. I don't like the dancing festival because unless you're just gun ho about making relationships, you'll always fail at that festival your first year. Like I was a gnat's hair away from having fucking Haley up to enough to fucking be my dance partner. But like I did it like one day I didn't give her a fucking flower. So I didn't have like 4 hearts. Also wish there was more to do at the dancing festival too, if I'm being completely honest. Like some kind of like that's one thing I would say like they're good at with some of the festivals because some of the festivals have like little mini games and things you can play or just like I mean at least every festival has like a little shop stand where you can do shop stuff. Also too like the dancing festival does kind of become a waste after you pretty much choose who you're going to marry. Up until that point it's fairly useful, but like I'm really good at like getting people to like me in Stardew Valley. It's probably like an extension of my real life. Like I'm fairly likable. So like in a game where you have to be a fairly likable person, I'm like, okay, you just gotta do this stuff to be likable. Yeah. Like, yeah, you know what, Max, you bring up a good point. Like, Bush got a lot of shit, but like he knew. Like, if he went immediately to New Orleans, like that was going to take a lot of the stuff away from people who immediately need it. I mean, I guess it depends on where in Texas Trump's going to go. Like if he goes, like I know Houston got just rocked. Did Dallas or Austin get hit? Like Austin probably got hit if like because I'm not. I'm good when it comes to geography, I'm good with like the big picture, but like when it comes to like the actual like state by state and where like cities and stuff are, I'm less good. Is it Houston near Austin or is that Dallas is near Austin? Or is it Houston and Dallas that are near each? Because I know two of like the big Texas cities are like relatively near each other. Also thinking about it, isn't Austin in like the eastern part of Texas? So yeah, it probably did get hit. All I really heard about though was Houston, because Houston got like just absolutely flooded. There's a really fucked up picture where it's like here's the highway before the hurricane and here's the highway right now after the hurricane and it's just like water everywhere. Yeah, that would probably cheer them up. Or Trump pulls a Sean Penn. Like he goes out and like finds a gun. That was so funny. Like anybody remember that? Like, you know what? It's fun. It's fun to make fun of Sean Penn for that, but like he legitimately does do a lot to help. Like, right? Like he actually cares. It's just Sean Penn is kind of a fucking idiot when it comes to like optics and not coming off as like a complete disingenuous asshole. Like Sean Penn should really just be like, I'm gonna do a nice thing, and I'm, just not talk about it. Like kind of like George Michaels, what he did. Where like George Michaels on the down low, like was secretly like a super great guy and gave like a shit ton of money to charity and shit. But he wasn't like, I'm not doing it for people to be like, yeah, I'm a good guy. I'm just doing it because it's a good thing to do. I'm typing in tags right now. Really, there's only like two or three. Stardew Valley, Donald Trump, Hurricane Harvey. Hurricane is a word that always fucking like pisses me off because I can never remember if it's like Kane, like Michael Caine. I don't think it is. I misspelled hurricane there. Fix it. I'll fix it in post. Or whatever is the equivalent of my version of post for this show. Really, that is just like plumping in tags and various bric-a-brac like that. I want to go, like, I'm just thinking about Stardew Valley. God, like, oof. It's gonna, like, seriously, that is gonna be the first, that's gonna be the, even though it was the least voted for, I feel so fucking bad. Like I sincerely need to apologize to everyone for that one on Twitter. Like, hey, everyone who voted on Twitter, yeah, the thing you least voted for, that's gonna be the longest running of the Steam series. I just chose standard because I haven't played. This is how long I haven't played Stardew because like when it first came out, I literally just did nothing but eat, breathe, and play Stardew Valley. Like that's all I did. So I haven't played around with any of the other farms. I'm kind of wishing I chose the Forging farm though, because I'm like and again, it goes back to me to my years playing Harvest Moon. Forging is one of the best ways to gain money in Harvest Moon. Not so much in Stardew Valley because it's kind of random when things pop up. Like in most of the Harvest Moon games, like the harvestable things in nature pop up either every day or every other day. That's why like in Harvest Moon, like you could make so much money during the fall. Like if you could find where like truffles, like that was always the big money maker in the fall season for Harvest Moon was truffles. I know, Bruno, and you know what? You know what's fucked up, Bruno? I'm kicking myself this week too, because it's like, all I did was tape a bunch of Undertale videos and Stardew Valleys. I didn't do any fucking like fuck Nazi videos this week. I'm slacking. And on top of it, I've been hanging out in God's Odds. If nobody's familiar with that YouTuber, I've been hanging out in those hangouts, like, because oh boy, they're a land of crazy. It's fun, and a lot of the people are really nice, but oh boy, there's some real, like, there's some real winners there. Like, there's one guy who's an anti-Semitic black Israelite who thinks the world is flat. It's he, like, him and Stizor. If anybody remembers Stizor, him and Stizor got into this big fight the other day, and Stizor kept calling him the N-word, and the black Israelite guy, I forget his whole full name, but like, the first part of his username is Claim. He kept calling Stizor a paraplegic and, like, noodle legs and shit, and it was literally the craziest. It was so crazy I had to drag Lundy into it. I was like, Lundy, you have to see this shit. This is just madness, just pure unadulterated cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs madness. I love Stizor so much. Like, he could be a bit of a pill sometimes, and just quite fucking frank, a big fucking cock. Just a big dick. But man, I gotta respect him on some level. He's Stizor, and he doesn't give a shit about anybody who thinks otherwise. He knows what he is. He knows what he believes in. Like, also too, like, at least, like, he's not, like, also, you know what, he's not a white nationalist. I'll be honest, at this point, that's like my pass. Like, you know what, you're not a white nationalist, you get a pass. You're not a fascist, okay, good, next. That's pretty much like my standard now in people, is like, it's like, do, do you like fascism? No. Okay, good. I'm thinking I should do what Dan Harmon said. Like, Dan Harmon was like, people should start, just instead of saying hello to each other, they should just start introducing themselves by, I'm Matt, I'm not a Nazi. Because then that puts onus on the person you're talking to also be like, I'm Jake, I'm also not a Nazi. Because, you know, if they're like, what? Well, no, if they're not, like, if they're actually confused, like, it's legitimate confusion. I'm not gonna be like, if you're 100% confused, if you ever meet me and the first words out of my mouth are, I am Matt, I'm not a Nazi, you can be confused. Like, that's totally cool. That's a legitimate, appropriate response. Another appropriate response would also be like, I'm not a Nazi. Inappropriate response would be like, I am a Nazi. Nazis are cool. Like, Sig Heil, you know, all that jazz. The Juden. Speaking of the Juden, Angus last night, oh boy, he got drunk. We got proof of this. We got proof of this. And if Angus wants to I can't think right now. I'm really fucking high. How you guys doing? How you doing? This is the first Sunday show I've done in a while by myself, so it's pretty. You know what? The Stardew Valley, like that. You know, that's probably usually my, like, limit. Like, I can talk about, like, one thing, razor focus, for like 20 minutes, but, like, when it comes to anything, like outside, it's like it's like McGregor. It's just like McGregor last night. You know, like, UFC fights at max are like 25 minutes. So, like, once he got outside of that, like, once he got outside of like 25 minutes, he was fucked. He was fucked. Typing in McGregor. No, I will say this. There was one reason to kind of want Conor McGregor to win, and that was because if he did win, the amount of money that was bet on that match, if McGregor won, it would have bankrupted all of the bookies in Las Vegas. And that would have been really interesting to see. It'd be like the collapse of Wall Street in like in 1929, but like people jumping out of fucking casinos and shit. It'd be so fucking weird. It'd be fucked up too, like, but at the same time, it'd just be really weird to see people in like tacky Las Vegas like casino suits and shit just jumping out of like tacky Las Vegas casinos. Also, there's some casinos they can't jump out of, like the pyramid one. Like, how are you going to jump out of that? You jump out of one side of the pyramid, you're just going to slide down. You're going to look like a goofball. You can't fucking you can't commit suicide on a pyramid. You're just gonna slide down and look like an asshole. You know what? Like, we should build pyramids. That would like stop suicide from people jumping off of high shit. Like, it doesn't matter how high you build it. Again, I solved the problem. Where's my Nobel Peace Prize? I just cut like the world suicide rate in like a third or something. Just bring back pyramids. You can't jump off of a pyramid. You're just gonna slide down. Yeah, Jimson knows. I will say this. Angus may or may not have agreed with Hitler. May or may not. I'm not gonna lie. May or may not. It's not slander because I'm putting up both possibilities and they're both equally true. You know, Schrodinger's cat logic. That kind of shit. We should make, you know what? You know what? You know what? Pyramids on train tracks. Train pyramids. Make train. Everything should be pyramids. Pyramids are the most suicide proof shape in nature. I feel 100% confident in saying that. Nobody can argue with that point. Name another shape. Circle, you can choke on a circle. You ain't swallowing a pyramid, no matter how small. So yeah, like circle. Also, you can cut your wrist on a circle. There you go. Another thing. Ginger's barking. That's why I'm muting. Oh, Max is back out. Yeah. Oh no. Sorry, I'm watching the dogs now. I kind of wish I had a camera for this moment because it's like, hey, here's dogs. Yeah, like a pizza cutter. You know what? That's why I think, you know what? I'm going to flip it on the conspiracy nuts. That's why they're anti-pyramid. There's no Illuminati. What there is an anti-pyramid conspiracy. People want to give pyramids a bad name. So yeah, again, pyramids, best shape, pyramids are the best girl of shapes. If there was a shape anime, if there was a shape based anime, pyramids would be best girl. You could you could strangle yourself with a spiral. How do you think what's his face? Kill Bill, fucking karate, kung fu. The journey continues. That jackass. Jerk it off. Spiral on his dick. Spiral around his neck. If anything, if anything, spirals are the most diddliest shape in nature. Because how does a bullet travel? In a spiral shape. How does an arrow travel? In a spiral. There you go. Spirals. They're the real killers. If we can get rid of spirals, we can get rid of death. I am so high right now. I was playing a lot of Stardew Valley and getting really high. That's another reason I like Stardew Valley. It's a great game to like, you take a hit, you're good for like an hour, you take another hit, you're good for another hour. Oh my god, Ito did do that spiral fucking manga. I'm surprised nobody's like snapped up his shit. I mean, I know the weird little vampire girl thing he did. I know that's gotten some movie adaptations. Also, I think there's an adaptation of the fish one. I could never remember the name of the fish one. To be completely honest, I could never really remember the name of half of his stories. Yeah, I can see. Yeah, I can see Bannon being one of those fucked up snail people. He's got the skin for it. Although I feel bad for saying that because I saw a really cute picture of a snail the other day. It's like eating a piece of grass, and it just had this look on its little snail face, like oh dear. It's like Eeyore. I want to say this: snails, in my opinion, hands down cutest invertebrate. I'll fight anybody on that any day of the week. Like I don't think there's a single invertebrate that could even come to as cute as a snail. Like they just got those little like bunny rabbit antenna eyes and like they're just adorable. Also, they're completely harmless. You know, I'll throw slugs in with snails. Because let's be honest, slugs and snails, same thing. Okay, cuttlefish are pretty good. I'll give you that one, Jimson. Cuttlefish are definitely top 5 cutest invertebrates. Even the name for cuttlefish is kind of cute. It almost sounds like cuttlefish. Like, oh, I want to cuddle with the cuttlefish. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I liked it better. I liked Death Note better than Ghost in the Shell because Death Note actually changed shit. Because I'm like, that's my thing with with the anime adaptations that annoy me is when they just like we're just gonna completely wholesale just adapt like the story, but we're just gonna have a bunch of like actors do it. Like that's annoying to me. It's like, look, you're never gonna be able to tell the story as good as the anime told it because the anime was telling a story that an anime could tell. Like that's the whole reason the guy who made Ghost in the Shell made Ghost in the Shell in the first fucking place. Because he was like, this would pretty much be impossible to do as a fucking movie. Like, that's why Kojima got into fucking video games, because if he was into fucking movies at first, but then he was like, none of my ideas could feasibly be made into movies. But video games, I could do that. You could do that with video games. But like, so yeah, I'll at least give like, okay, here's something with Akira, right? First off, I don't like Akira. It's a beautiful movie and it's inspired a lot of shit. The plot is fucking incoherent nonsense. Like, if there's one thing I really want to see get remade, not as a movie, but as like a TV series, especially like a long form anime, I want to see an Akira. Like Studio Madhouse, Bones, fucking like anybody. Like I would like to see an actual long form proper telling of the Akira story. Because the movie really fucks up like the actual point of the Akira manga. I mean, to be fair, Ghost in the Shell changed shit because it mushed like the actual first movie with I forget if it was the first season or the second season of Standalone Complex that had like the War Orphan robot brain arc. But one thing, if I was in charge of doing the American adaptation of Akira, first thing I change right off the bat, it's not going to be called Akira. People, what they don't understand with Akira is the reason it's called Akira is because Akira is a very common name in Japan. It's basically like calling your manga Kevin or Robert. So that's what I would do with Akira. Like, first thing right off the bat is I'd change the fucking name. I'd change it to like Kevin. If we're setting it in the United States, I'm gonna like give it a name that's more common in the United States. Because a lot of the big moments, a lot of the more impactful like scenes in the anime and in the manga that really work is because like these people are like calling out Akira like this kind of god, but like it's just like if somebody was like, oh yeah, Kevin's the prophesized one. That's what I would probably call it. My American Akira remake is I'd call it Kevin. Kevin's Kevin's a good generic American name. Or Scott. Scott or nah, Scott sounds like an asshole. Kevin. I'm gonna go with Kev. Although with Kevin, like Akira slash Kevin would have the like he could be called Kev, and that would sound really fucking dumb. Matt could work too. Really thinking about it though, like other than that, there's really not that much you have to fucking change to adapt Akira to an American. Like just a lot of like the like yeah, especially now, because like I mean, obviously, I wasn't in Japan in the '80s, so I don't know how really bad like the juvenile delinquency, like the juvenile young people disillusionment problem was. Like I know, like from reading and like accounts from like at the time and after like. It was apparently a big enough problem, and like looking at a lot of the anime, you can see that it was enough in the cultural zeitgeist of Japan to influence a lot of anime. So like I don't know if the current situation with like the current like millennial disenfranchisement is like comparable to that. But like this might literally be an actual good time to do an American Akira. Like I'm not against them doing American adaptations of anime. My thing is like just don't do a wholesale just like don't just like mush two storylines or something together. Like actually like genuinely either like two things off the bat. Genuinely give a shit. You don't have to like something, just give a shit. Just know that there are people who like that was the problem with Dragon Ball Evolution. Like the director like later on said like he didn't know like how much people actually like Dragon Ball, and like he just thought it like because when he got handed the movie they were like, yeah, this is just some dumb kids movie we're making a live action adaptation of. Like he didn't know about the history and stuff of Dragon Ball. He was like, if I knew about that shit, I would have made a way better movie. Also, I got this timed out great because dinner's almost ready, and 2 minutes will be end of show. We had a good, varied, like a lot of Stardew Valley talk, but like a good, varied thing. I might go ahead and end this early because we're having lasagna, and I'm a fat fuck. I love lasagna. Lasagna is like one of the best foods fucking ever. It's basically pasta cake. So yeah, I'm gonna go get lasagna. See you guys later. Ending it early. Sorry.